Good morning. This is Pastor Brian with our daily devotional out of the book of James. In James 1:19 and 20, James begins by saying, understand this. He said, pay attention, listen up, don't miss this. And our ears should immediately perk up and pay attention to what he's about to say. And James says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For human anger does not accomplish the righteousness of God. I, growing up, would always hear, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so that you would listen more than you speak. We all know the truth of this text. We have all said things that we regret. We have said things that hurt others. We have often let our emotions get the best of us in the heat of the moment. We have, at times, become controlled by our emotions instead of practicing self-control. We have let our uncontrolled anger turn into uncontrolled speech. But James makes a very important case here, saying this cannot be. That Christians, those of the new birth, or the ones birthed by the Word, should be evidenced by their attitude toward one another and the way that they speak toward one another. Why? Because words and speech accomplish the righteousness of God. How? Even Jesus himself says that if you are angry toward your brother in your heart, it's like you're murdering him. It's like you're breaking the law of God. But the plan and the purpose of God is what? That we would love the Lord our God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, with all of our mind, with all of our strength. And to love our neighbor as ourselves. And the very act of saying harsh things or having a negative attitude or a hurtful attitude or anger at our brother is the opposite of what God has called us and purposed us to in salvation, to love our neighbor, to be the love of Christ to them, and to be angry toward them is the exact opposite of what God has called us to be and do. Now, growing up, we taught this song or taught this phrase or saying that is such a lie. That sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is not true. That is a lie. That words hurt very deeply. They cut so deep and the wounds heal so slowly. You may have been hurt by somebody by their words. The majority of us have been. And hey, listen, maybe the call today for you is to forgive that person. Just as Christ has forgiven you and loved you in spite of your mistakes and sin, would you forgive somebody that's hurt you today? But maybe this morning in your mind, you're thinking of a time that maybe you've hurt somebody with your words. And maybe the call to action this morning for you is to go to them and say sorry, to ask for their forgiveness for the way that you hurt them with your words. But maybe this morning you have battle with self-control. You struggle with allowing your emotions to get the best of you. You struggle with the sin of anger. Would you go to the Lord right now in prayer? And would you ask Him to heal you of that sin, heal you of that anger? Because anger becomes this side of us where we want to be in control. That we want things to go our way. That we want to be the one who's calling all the shots. And guess what? That's not your role. That's God's role. So don't usurp God. Allow Him to be in control and to rest under Him. Pray that He would forgive you and heal you of that. Hey, church, listen, we love you. We're praying for you. We'll see you in the morning.